Most people relocating to the San Antonio area think new construction homes is the obvious choice. But depending on your timeline, budget, and lifestyle, it might actually end up costing you more money. We're going to dive into this topic in this video. Is new construction or pre-owned the way to go for you and your family? Let's jump right in. If this is your first time to our channel and you would like to know everything there is to know about living in San Antonio and its surrounding areas, make sure you subscribe or tap that bell for notifications to ensure that you're one of the first to be notified when we bring you new market updates. My name is Katie Powers.
And my name is Stephen Garza.
And we get phone calls, emails, and texts from people just like you every single day who are making a move into the area. Whether you're 6 days or 6 months away from making that transition, we would love to hear from you. All of our information is listed right below, and Steve and I would be honored to be your realtors of choice. Now let's dive in to the number one question we always get from clients moving into the area. New construction or pre-owned?
Yep, we get that a lot.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over around 10 topics. We'll kind of see how this goes. We like talking things through with you guys. I think when Steve and I play off of each other, you guys end up getting more information that's actually useful instead of us just reading a script. So if you like this, make sure you let us know in the comments. If you don't like it, then just move on. We don't really need negative comments. But anyway, we're just gonna walk you through this, and these are all of the top topics that we get hit on when you guys come into town. So we're just gonna dive right in.
Okay, question one. So why are people buying new construction over pre-owned these days?
So there's a lot of reasons. I think the top two reasons: builder incentives are big and warranties are big. That peace of mind, knowing that you have a 10-year foundation warranty. Depending on the builder, you have a 1 to 2 year bumper to bumper, in a sense, type of a warranty where anything in the house happens. For the most part, the builder will cover it. There are a few things the builders don't cover that we can go over as well, but those seem to be the top two reasons.
Yeah, definitely the incentives as of the last 2 years, now that we're in early 2026, but 2024, 2025, the incentives were just, they were crazy. The builders were paying people essentially to move in.
Literally. And Steve had a good statistic about what happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah, so in the last 2 years, this is a crazy stat. Keep in mind, I've been licensed for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this. In the last 2 years, 1 out of every 3 homes sold were new construction. So what does that do to the pre-owned market?
Well, it caused us to have over 6 months of inventory, which we have. So if you are relocating to San Antonio in 2026, you have a plethora of options. Pre-owned and new construction, the inventory homes aren't as, there aren't as many inventory homes as there are pre-owned homes. But also the other big thing that people are leaning towards new construction for is the energy efficiency. Here in Texas, we get hot, right? Summers are hot, and frankly, it's the beginning of March and we're 85 degrees. So we're already ramping up into summertime weather at the beginning of spring. So really the thing here is energy efficiency has come a long way. Building materials have come a long way. Windows with the gas in between definitely cuts down on needing those electricity bills to go rocket high. Even the actual units themselves have become much more efficient. So that is a big deal. If you're looking at a home that's 40, 60 years old, if the windows are not replaced on a pre-owned, you can expect a higher energy bill. If you're looking at a new build, you can expect your energy bill to be less than $200 in most cases, depending on square footage.
Yeah, I mean, I think we focus on what is most important to people, and that's the incentives. I mean, when a builder's giving you 60 grand and a 4% interest rate, like it's hard to beat, and it's just a fact of life, right? In this market, right? We've seen it change. where pre-owned were flying off the shelf. But in this market, the incentive is the ultimate for question one.
Yeah, and I think the key on the incentives to hit on, because we're already seeing a shift in the market and it's only March of 2026. So the key to hit on incentives is, do builders have incentives? Absolutely. Are they as big as they were in 2025? No, they're actually starting to get a little tighter on those incentives. So it's going to depend on the price point of the home. So if you're looking at $1 million plus, typically those incentives are larger because your design budget is larger. So they will give you anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 in incentive money towards design. If you are looking at a price point that's like $700,000 and below, you're going to be looking at closer to $20,000 to $30,000 in incentive money, which honestly is still a great incentive, but usually it is costing, and I'm giving you a range, so don't quote me on this, but usually a full point buy down for your interest rate costs about 30 grand. So if the incentive is 30,000, most people are using that 30,000 to go from a 6% interest rate to a 5% interest rate. That's the going rate today. So does that cover your closing costs? No, that covers a rate buy down. That does not cover rate buy down plus closing costs, which in 2025, we were seeing both being offered. 2026 has shifted and we're seeing around 30 grand in incentive money. The other thing that you want to keep into account when you're going new build is the customization options depend on the builder as well. So if you were looking at a $300,000 budget, you don't get a whole lot of customization options. If you're buying an inventory home, you don't get a lot of customization options because it's priced based off the build. It's already built or it's in the process of being built. The inventory home is the inventory home. Can we occasionally get carpet switched out for LVP? Yeah, depends on the timeline. But overall, those really big 100 grand off incentives, refrigerator, washer, dryer, all of those things getting thrown in that we were seeing are coming to an end here in 2026. So I just wanted to put out there, because the incentives are huge, but they're not even what we were seeing in 2025. We are seeing a market shift.
Yeah, keep in mind, building a home is a business for them. Mm-hmm. And so they're looking at it purely from a supply and demand standpoint. When you have a lot of demand, well, that's what they have. They have demand, and so they're not offering those huge incentives anymore because the demand is going up, and so they're running it like a business. A lot of demand. Well, you start tossing away a lot of those incentives and pocketing more money. That's just a business for them.
Yeah, and we are also seeing a double effect on that, where they're increasing pricing and minimizing incentives. So I think we'll see more of that come June, July, because we are a very heavy summer market here in the San Antonio area. But that is really a lot of the reason why people are going new build. And the other reason why we see a lot of buyers that are going new construction is these master plan communities. A lot of the new construction homes have the massive pools and fishing ponds and walking trails and amphitheaters, right? Outdoor amphitheaters and stuff. So the newer communities have these things where if you go pre-owned in an older home, you might have an HOA, you might have a pool, but it's not going to have all the extras that the newer communities have.
The water slides.
Yeah, like some of these are crazy. Now, can you get pre-owns in these newer communities? Absolutely. Sure. But that is really what we're seeing from you guys. What's a draw to those new builds? Okay.
Number one.
So that was question number one. Let's roll into question number two.
So what are the hidden costs in building that nobody talks about?
I like this one. And I think you guys are really going to appreciate this question, because We hear it from you all the time and you don't really know. So my biggest thing that I say to all of my buyers who are choosing to build, okay, this is different than inventory, we'll touch on that. But if you are choosing to build, the biggest thing is decision-making fatigue, or what I like to call upgrades. You will hate the word upgrade by the end of your build process, and it doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world and you want to upgrade your whole house, you will still hate the word upgrade because everything is an upgrade.
We speak from experience on this one. I mean, we've done it ourselves, and I was complaining a lot.
Well, we ended up not building it because we went through design and Steve was just, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He was so angry. And we do this for a living, right, with our clients, but it's very different when it's other people's money. So we have done it with our money and we know what you guys are going through. So it's a lot. And when you look at like the fact that it's an upgrade to, in all builders, it doesn't matter the price point, whether you're 1.8 million or 400,000, every living room does not come without carpet. Every single living room is going to come with carpet. You're going to have to upgrade to have one flooring in the downstairs, which is what everybody loves, right? The LVP or the tile that looks like wood, or laminate or hardwoods, engineered wood floors. No matter what it is, you are going to have to pay the upgrade cost, and that is one of your largest expenses in the upgrade world. And in most cases, to the tune of anywhere from $20,000 to $60,000 just to have one flooring throughout the whole home. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Those are hidden costs that when they put out new builds in the 400s, you're not going to end in the 400s. You're going to end in the 500s because you have upgrades, okay?
Let's walk this back for a sec though.
Yep.
This pertains to semi-custom. Full custom is very different, where you sit down with an architect.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind. This is like if you're buying a Dries, a Toll Brothers, a Perry,
a Highland.
A Highland. So yeah, I mean, you know, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I think that's the majority of you guys. If you're going custom, we'll have a whole separate video on custom. This is semi-custom. You want to be in a master plan community. These are the type of builds, right? And there are situations for everything. So a lot of this, we're just going over generalities of what we see on a daily basis. Now, the other hidden cost would include,
well, there's two. Let's pretend we found the neighborhood. We know we want to build in this neighborhood. What's the first question to the sales rep?
Well, I was going to talk about lot premiums.
That's what I'm saying. That's the first question.
So lot premiums. Every house has a base price, but you also have to pay for the lot to put your base price on.
They don't tell you that.
They don't tell you that. They don't advertise that either. Mm-hmm. So lot premiums differ depending on the neighborhood. If you're looking at half acre to acre lots, they're anywhere from 50 grand to 150 grand. Lot premium.
What can also set a more expensive lot premium?
Views.
Views.
Flatness.
Green
topography, belt. I should say, like whether it's flat or not. Green belt.
Green belt's a big one here.
And let me just say this, and I love new builds. We are not trying to trash new builds. We sell a lot of them. We have great relationships with reps that work for the builders as well. But they will sell you a green belt, and 2 years later, they will build something behind it. And it doesn't matter that you paid 100 grand extra for the green belt. It may not be a permanent green belt. So all of these things are why you really need an agent when it comes to purchasing any home, but especially when you're purchasing a new construction home, you really need an agent to know what questions to ask, because they love the word greenbelt, and it does not mean what most people think greenbelt means. So that is something to keep in mind. The other thing is landscaping. Here in Texas, they typically will lay sod and sprinkler systems no matter the budget. San Antonio is under water restrictions, so we are seeing less and less sod being placed.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something, if you want really pretty landscaping, probably won't be added. So that would be a hidden cost. The other big hidden cost
Structurals.
is structurals.
They don't tell you this one either.
Yeah. And what does structurals mean, Steve?
Structurals is anything that's essentially going to change the roof line or add concrete to the foundation, right? A bay window, adding a bonus room upstairs, which we see a lot of, adjusting a master bathroom or a primary bathroom to make it larger. You're increasing the footprint of the home and or you're changing the roof line. And so that all has to be accounted for upfront and can get pricey.
Yeah, fireplaces are big ones. If you want outdoor patio, outdoor kitchens, outdoor fireplaces, those are all structural changes.
Extended covered patios is a big one here.
Extended covered patios is a really big one. Those typically start hitting you around 14 grand for that extended covered patio, which is worth it, because trying to do it after the fact doesn't work, right? One continuous roof line is very important. That extra concrete as part of your slab is really nice as well. So all of those things are important, but they are additional fees that make that base sales price increase very quickly. The other one is new construction homes do not come with refrigerator, washer, dryer, or blinds. So when we walk all of these beautiful homes that you guys tune in to see every week, you will notice there's no blinds on any of them, whether it is a model home or an inventory home. If the inventory home has been sitting long enough, some builders will throw blinds in. We can also negotiate on your behalf to add blinds. We just did it last week with Mark and Rose and Johnson Ranch. We got them some blinds added in because that's an additional cost. When you buy a house, you're paying a lot of money typically, right? Your down payment, your closing costs, your moving expenses, and then you move in and the whole world can see you in your home with no privacy and no blinds. And when you start looking at how many windows you have, it can cost you well over 2 to 3 grand just to get blinds in your windows.
Yeah, I'd say average for just a 2-inch faux wood to do a whole house, $2,500 roughly, somewhere in there, give or take, depending on the window count. But that's a good number to keep in your head.
So it's a good one to push the builders to get in for free. They already have the workers there at the house. They already buy them in bulk. They know all the measurements of the windows. It's typically a pretty good ad we can negotiate in. Not all the time, but it's always worth asking. But appliances are a big deal. So in the state of Texas, you automatically get a stove or range, or both. You get a microwave, you get a dishwasher.
That's it. And a garbage disposal.
In most cases, a garbage disposal, but if you are buying a Lennar home, you do not get a garbage disposal. And in some houses, not even a dishwasher. But we don't really like Lennar a whole lot, so we'll just skip over that.
They build a different product.
It is. They're great rental homes. They're great price point, great rental homes. What else do we have hidden costs on?
I would say this is strictly for the consumer to know. If you're walking somebody through the build process, and we've talked about structurals, we've talked about lot premiums, a lot of people ask, hey, Katie, where can we push the builder on for negotiations?
We do get that question. We get that question a lot.
A lot. So
a lot.
What's a good answer for that?
So blinds, number one, refrigerator, washer, dryer packages are something that we can negotiate. I will say 2026 will be a little harder. We were getting them left and right in 2025. Market shifts, incentives shrink, right? It's all about supply and demand, but that is also a big ask, and it's totally possible. So if, they really just don't want to move on price because they need to be able to sell other homes in the neighborhood and compare the prices the same, we could usually get them on other things where if you're okay going with the price that high, we can get them in other places to save you money, like a refrigerator.
Well, then there's another big one in there that all builders tend to play with. That's the lot premium.
If you're building, yep.
Yeah, if you're building from scratch and you want to negotiate on something, generally they'll give on that lot premium because that's kind of just a fictitious number that they created anyways, right?
Right. So lot premiums we can typically negotiate if you're building from scratch. The other thing we can typically negotiate is the incentive itself. So if they are offering a 4.99% interest rate, we know today's rate is 6%. That's a $30,000 incentive to get to a 4.99. So we can play with that. If you guys aren't interested, which we just had clients, like I was telling you a minute ago, 4.99 wasn't really that appealing because a 15-year note, you're already a lower rate in general. So we got them to turn that 4.99 into $20,000 in closing cost assistance. So we can play around with that incentive money as well with the builder because they are normally going to care most about the sales price so they can comp out their other sales. But incentive money is like play money for them, right? So we can typically negotiate on your behalf to get a little more negotiation room. It is easier for me to get you cash towards design than it is to give you cash towards closing costs because cash towards closing costs is real money. Cash towards design is play money. It's fictitious, but it works, right? And it's less money out of pocket for you and you'll get that extra, play money at design to do one flooring and it not hit your budget.
Might give you a little fact here. She's really good at negotiating this stuff too.
I really enjoy it.
Yes.
I really like sticking it to people and builders are the best people to stick it to because they're expecting it. And it's wonderful. I know. It's the redhead in me. The need to negotiate is very real, and all of my Irish people know exactly what I'm saying. So,
I live with her.
Whatever.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on. Well, I think before we go to 3, the other hidden cost that I do want to hit on is timeline delays. And the reason why I want to hit on this, and people think, well, timeline delay doesn't cost me money.
Oh, I gotcha.
But it does. Because if you locked that rate in and the builder said, oh man, we were supposed to close in 14 days, but it looks like we have to push it another 30, you may not have the time on your rate lock. And extending a rate lock can cost you anywhere from $2 to $10 grand. So rate locks cost money. Also, moving your movers can cost money and cause delays. And then the other big one about timelines that can cost you money is where are you staying? Are you renting? Are you in an Airbnb? Are you living with your mom and ready to go crazy because you need your home to be ready? All of these things are real factors and time delays can cost you. So that is another thing when they tell you a timeline when you're building, I need you to have a buffer. I need you to have a buffer if it closes sooner, Hal and Karen, and I need you to have a buffer if they take longer, right? Because if you're trying to sell a home where you're at and you're relocating here and they finish sooner and your home isn't sold yet, like they're not gonna hold your home for you. They will for like 30 days, but they're not gonna hold it for you for 6 months till your home sells, right? So these are all very important factors that when you call us and we go through your buyer consultation and we learn about you and you guys learn more about us, we'll be able to advise you on what you should prepare for. But I just want to hit on that because those are hidden costs. Those are very real scenarios that happen.
The Williamsons.
I know you're watching, Jennifer, yes. And I know you're laughing right now. But they were supposed to close in November and we didn't close till January, right? Rate lock extension. Now, granted, we did get the builder to cover the rate lock extension because it was their fault that we were extending. So we got the builder to cover the rate lock extension, but what if we didn't? What if the builder just said, sorry, we've got all your money, you either close or don't close? You know, there's only so much. Steve and I are good and we can advocate, but at the end of the day, the builder has the end of the final say, you know, like kind of ends with them. So luckily relationships matter, but that is a very big thing. Like, could it be 3 months out? It could take some time, right? Luckily, the Williamsons were able to get their rental extended, move their movers and all of that stuff, but it doesn't always happen as easy. And it's always something to keep in mind because they can take longer or they could finish really soon. And I'm thinking about these scenarios, and all of these scenarios only wrap around one builder that we have this problem with.
These are worst case scenarios too.
Yes.
Generally, I would say most of the time, the timelines, people are really good at matching their timelines up with the build and the finish out of the actual home. So,
and 30 days is a really nice buffer. So builders will always typically give us a 30-day cushion room, meaning if they finish sooner, but we still need to stick to our close date, they'll give us that 30 days. If they take an extra 30 days, you know, we can work around a 30-day buffer. So that's all of your hidden costs.
That's a good point. I mean, great information for anyone thinking about building. So,
yes.
Anyway, so question 3, why do some buyers prefer pre-owns or resales?
So the biggest reason I see is bang for buck.
Big one.
And mature trees. So if you're coming to Texas because you've heard of our beautiful hill country, most people love our live oaks. And if you're going to new construction, depending on your budget, they typically don't have the mature trees and aren't able to save as many. So if you're going pre-owned, you typically get really pretty trees in your backyard, some nice shade, some shade cover over your roof to help with that energy efficiency.
The bang for buck is in square feet, right? Typically in a pre-owned purchase, your dollar stretches a little bit further, right? New construction, new materials just cost more. And, you know, inflation itself over the course of time in history it's getting more expensive. And so with that pre-owned, if you go pre-owned, you know, your 2,000 square foot house might revert back to a 1,700 square foot house if you're going new. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just it's not a big adjustment, but extra square feet is what a lot of people prefer. And, and you know, an extra bedroom, office, those things they make people make decisions towards the pre-owned versus the new.
The other big reason why people will go pre-owned over new is location. So San Antonio is built out. I mean, we're a big city. So if you want to go new, you have to go outskirts of San Antonio for the most part. Are there a few little neighborhood pockets throughout San Antonio? Absolutely, but they're very, very small neighborhoods. The majority of these, not the majority, all of the master plan communities where you're getting these big splash pads and lazy rivers and walking trails, they're on the outskirts of San Antonio or in the suburbs of San Antonio, like Helotes and Castroville and Bernie and New Braunfels and Cibolo, because they have to be you're driving till you can buy, right? You're driving out to get these. A lot of people love pre-owned because the location is in the city. So if you're working at the VA hospital, you might not want to be out in Bernie. You might not want to be 30-minute drive into work. You might want to have a 5 to 10-minute drive, whether it's the VA hospital or USAA or
military bases
or Boeing, right? Like all of these big businesses are in the city. So do you want a 30, 45-minute drive to work every day, or do you want a 10-minute drive to work? So the other thing that I'm also going to hit on location is lifestyle around these new builds. A lot of these new builds off 211 and Castroville that are going further and further out. Entertainment, the grocery stores, the fast food hasn't caught up yet.
The commercial real estate.
Yes.
Generally, when you start seeing these outer lying communities popping up, the homes go first and then commercial follows. You don't ever see the big HEB put out in the middle of nowhere or the Walmart and then homes spring up around it. It's always opposite.
Exactly.
So if you're one of the newer people into the community, you might have to drive a little bit further to get some groceries.
And it'll come. But will it be 5 years from now, 6 years from now? You know, that type of a thing. So that is what I hear. I had a client a few years ago tell me one of his priorities was that he could do Uber Eats. Like he would not move anywhere. He would not get Uber Eats.
Fair.
And some of these newer communities that are outside of the city don't have Uber Eats yet because it's a 30-minute drive out there. So,
well, and if you're like us, we're foodies. We love restaurants. We love to be served. We love going to the new fine dining. We do. Every now and then. That's expensive, but we do. And
we treat ourselves. Everybody deserves it.
The further out you are, the further it is to drive to that nice restaurant. And so that's just lifestyle. I mean, that boils down to lifestyle.
So. I think lifestyle and what you want in life. So those are really the main reasons why we have people really look at pre-owned. The other is immediate move. Right, but you do have inventory homes. You could do immediate move-in and new. Most of pre-owns are immediate move-in. They can close in 30 days, whether they're already vacant or the seller is in there. They will vacate within a 30-day time period. They're prepped for that. They expect that. So you have, a pretty immediate timeline. You don't have an unknown timeline. And for any of you people who are anything like me and like to have control, pre-owned is the way to go because you have the control. If you go new build, there are so many factors, right? Weather, people, construction. There's just a lot of things out of your control. And I'm a control freak and I like to be in control. So pre-owns it really helps you with that.
Yeah, good point.
All right.
Moving on. Number 4, appreciation. What does that mean for pre-owned and for new construction?
Yeah, so we get a lot of questions about first build in, last build in. What if you're building and a new neighborhood pops up behind you, or they start a new phase behind you, right? All of these questions we hear. So I think the key is, and it's going to depend on who you are, but as far as appreciation goes, the best time to be in a new build is to be one of the first in the first phase of any new construction community for appreciation. There are a lot of reasons why that would be very annoying. If you're going to try and sell your home within 3 years, do not be the first one in a neighborhood because you will be competing with the builder. But as far as appreciation goes, if you are looking to buy your forever home, which I will tell you there is no such thing as a forever home, which is why it's in air quotations. I will just tell you, take that pressure off of you right now. Quit calling things forever homes. Just enjoy a home for now because life changes, right? We hear it. Oh my gosh, y'all, we would be billionaires if we got paid a penny for every time we hear forever home. But anyway, I digress. If you are moving it with the goal of a long term, this is a great new build. We're going to upgrade it because we're going to be here for a long time. First one in the neighborhood is the best appreciation. Typically every quarter, builders raise their prices. Every new phase, they increase their pricing. So you have the builder increasing your value of home every single month you live in that home if you are the first in the neighborhood.
So little known fact, it's a business. Yeah. If they are selling homes left and right, they're going to jack up that price. Mm-hmm. We just saw it out in Thornbrook. Yeah, David Weekley was crushing it out there and the other builders weren't. David Weekley jacked up their price. Yeah. It's a business.
And their lot premiums.
Yep.
So it is a business. That's how, supply and demand. And that's the whole real estate market in general. It's really just based off supply and demand.
The flip side to that, though, if you are the first one in the community, what does that do to your value? If the builder keeps raising and building the same floor plans as yours, you're going to be a tad bit older when you go to sell.
Yeah.
But that price adjustment up is bringing your value up with it.
Well, and the key is not selling while they're still building.
That's big key.
So, just like we said, all these incentives are amazing and people love them. Pre-owned homes can't compete. They can't give 30 grand. I don't know about you. I don't have 30 grand laying around just to give to some Joe Schmo who wants my house. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of equity. It's a lot of hard-earned equity, right? So builders have the cash to make that happen. Pre-owns typically don't have that kind of sway, right? So that is something to keep in mind if you are looking for, hey, this is just a 3-year home. And I am saying this to all of my military people who are PCSing here. As much as you love the new build, as much as it's so nice to be moved into a brand new home and have the warranties, if you know that they are going to move you in 3 to 4 years, new is not the way to go in most cases. We have a lot of these cases like on the west side of town, Redbird Ranch, lots of these really good neighborhoods. They're great. But like people thought they were going to be done building in 5 years. And now we're on like year 8 and they have a whole new phase opening up, right? So it's kind of hard to sell when you're competing against a builder and all those incentives.
Yeah, a little fact. My VA buyers or our VA buyers, you come in with negative 1% equity when you buy your house with 0 down.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
It's a great benefit.
Yeah, you've earned it.
To be able to buy a home with 0 down payment. But if you are still active duty and they are going to move you in 3 to 4 years, it goes a long way to even just put $5,000 down. There's our 2 cents. And we'll give you that advice when you guys call us. I mean, we do this for a living, right? So we're full of advice. This video will be 3 hours if we keep giving you all of our free advice.
Okay, so number 5, moving on. Negotiation and the power behind it.
So negotiation versus new and pre-owned, but I'm gonna break it down just a little bit more. First, we're gonna start with new because negotiation on new is twofold. You have build from dirt and then you have inventory homes. As far as negotiation power goes, you have all the negotiation power on inventory. And I mean all the negotiation power, right? Because the builder is a business, as Steve says, and the builder has a completed home that they are having to pay insurance on. They are having to pay taxes on. They are having to pay utilities on it, right? The builder's bleeding on that completed home. They want to move it. Okay? So we have this is where I have fun. Inventory homes, I will get you a deal. On builds, you have no leverage.
Very low.
I hate to break it to you, but you have no leverage. The only leverage we really have on negotiating power on a build is kind of what we've already touched on. Mm-hmm. Lot premium, blinds, kind of, depending on the builder, water softener loops, refrigerators, those types of things are small lot negotiations that we can hit on. Lot premium's the biggest one. And then incentive money is the second biggest. Mm-hmm. We typically can't get you more closing cost assistance on a dirt build because we're talking 7 to 9 months in advance and the builder is not going to promise you an interest rate that far in advance because they can't. They don't have a crystal ball. They don't know what's going to happen. So they won't really negotiate on that incentive, but where we can get them is in design incentive. So typically I have a pretty good track record of if they're giving 30,000 flex cash, meaning you get 30,000 to play with. You can use it for structurals, you can use it for design, or you can use it for closing cost. What I tell clients is typically save 10 to 15 for closing costs because closing costs is just like you're ready to move. You have enough expenses coming down the pipeline. The remainder used towards design. Where I can negotiate is say, hey, we're going to use 15 of the 30 towards closing costs, but we really need 30 in design. Is there any way we could get an additional 15K towards the design? Again, it's play money. for the builder. There's all the markups in the design center. Everything that you choose, from the flooring to the countertop to the soft close on the cabinets, right? All of that is marked up. The builder's getting a piece. The design center's getting a piece. The builder's getting a piece. So you are already paying a premium. So asking for additional design money to the builder is play money. So I can typically get you there, but on dirt builds, that's really all you get. You don't have a lot of power because they got you. They know you want this home and they know you want it to be personalized.
Well, that, and you don't have to spend a dime at design or in structurals. The base price, call it $500,000. You can get that house for $500,000. Is it going to be the way you like it? Probably not, right? Because you don't want carpet in the living room, in the game room,
and the dining room.
And the dining
carpet
room.
in the dining room, guys. That is insane.
But you don't have to. You
don't
can
have
build
to.
that base. It's just nobody does. I've had one guy do it in 20 years.
I've never, because I would probably look at you like you were crazy, because that doesn't make any sense to me. At that point, just go inventory.
Yep.
The inventories are nicer and you have more room to negotiate anyway. So if you want to build and go basic, let's just find you an inventory home that you're going to love. Let's just do that. So as far as pre-owned, so that's negotiations on new. When we jump to pre-owned negotiations, it's going to depend on the market. It's going to depend where we are in the market. 2025 is gone, guys. 2026 is here. The market's shifting. Now, could things change with the world? Because we've got a lot of unknowns going on in the world without going political. Yeah, it could. But as of March in 2026, our market's picking up. The market's heating up. So the negotiation power you had in November and December, it's not the same. And I'm seeing it just this week alone. I've negotiated 2 pre-owned homes this week. Both of them have multiple offers on them. It's getting a little crazy and it's only March. And I am just gonna say, is there multiple offers on all homes in San Antonio? Absolutely not. We still have 5.5 to 6 months of inventory on the market. You have a plethora, but the homes that are pristine, the homes that are clean, upgraded, and pretty, we are starting to see multiple offers. So if you want a perfectly move-in ready, your negotiation power might be hard. Multiple offer situation, you have no negotiation power. Let me just say it up there. You put your best foot forward, pray, hope, wish on a star, whatever you want to do, that you get it, right? All we can do is advise you to put your best foot forward and structure the offer for you to win. In most cases on a pre-owned home in 2026, what I see is 1 to maybe 2% of sales price with negotiation, right? We're looking at 10, 15,000. We're not talking 20, 30, 40, 50,000 off list anymore. It's not happening. It's just not. And just in the last 2 weeks, we're seeing the shift. So we're getting offers in 60,000 off and we're landing 10,000 off, right? So it's shifting.
No, it just goes back to, if you want a home, you got to deal with what the market conditions are.
Market conditions, yeah.
I've followed this over the course of my 20-year career. San Antonio has always been a 2 to 5% market, right? So if you list your house for $100,000, to use easy math, you can expect to get 98 to 95,000 back, right? As far as negotiating, so 2 to 5%, those margins always shrink in an upswing in the market, and then in the last 2 years, we were seeing 8 to 10%, which is crazy.
Right.
Off list.
So yeah. More negotiation power because they're trying to keep up with the builders, right? But the market's shifting. But you still have a lot of inventory. It's still a buyer's market, right? If it switches to a seller's market, you ain't getting a penny off list. So I think it's very important to remember it is still a buyer's market. You still have negotiation power on pre-owned. You just have to know that you're not going to get $100,000 off. Like, it's physically impossible for pre-owned homes. They don't have $100,000 in equity to give you, even if they wanted to, right? So we're just here to set the realistic expectations. Again, when you give us a call and we talk through your timeline and your wants for your home, we will let you know what's going on in the market. We're in it every day. This is what we do for a living, so we see it in real time.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is San Antonio specific. We don't know your market.
Mhm.
We can talk advice, like prepping a home, that kind of stuff. But I mean, as far as other markets, we don't know them. We know San Antonio and the surrounding area.
We're only talking about San Antonio here, guys, and all of the surrounding areas. So, all right, so we just covered 5 main topics with a whole bunch of topics wrapped in on that, right? So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here because we just downloaded a ridiculous amount of information into your brains. If you even made it this far. If you made it this far, high five. That was pretty cool. I'm glad that it was helpful for you. If you did find it informational and helpful, drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. All of our information is listed right below. Steve and I would be honored to be your realtors of choice. Very easy, very quick phone call. We'll set up a Zoom meeting to get to know you a little bit more, and then we can do the fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, buying a house is very personal.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to contact us. Let's set up that consultation so we can talk through what you have in mind and maybe the best scenarios moving forward when you do relocate here, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we do.
That's what we do. If you're not sick of us yet, you can stick around. We have our most popular video right here and our last video right here. Feel free to check those out, and we will see you guys on the next one.